Dr. Kapadia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Hello.
Dr. Kapadia, is my voice clear?
Yeah, sir. Am I audible?
Am I
Hello.
audible to you?
Yes, sir. My voice is clear.
Okay. Yeah, your voice is little low, but I am not sure whether my voice is
Okay.
clear to you.
No, your voice is clear, sir.
Okay. So we will wait for the 3-4 minutes more because very little number of students have joined so far. So let us
Okay.
wait for another few minutes.
Okay, sir.
We have sent SMS to the students also once again today, 5-10 minutes before.
Okay.
So Dr. Kapadia, should we start? You can unmute, Dr. Kapadia, you can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Hello.
yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Your voice is clear. No problem now. So,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
very good
Okay.
afternoon to all of you. We are very happy that today we have with us Dr. Kapadia. Uh, you all know that our classes are going on since last week, and every session, new resource persons are invited to take sessions on various important topics. So, dear students, please listen to the presentations of our experts keenly, and in case of any doubt, you can ask them. And sir, I welcome you to Indira Gandhi National Open University, Regional Center, Bhubaneswar, and request you to kindly make your presentation. And as per the schedule, as per the schedule prepared, uh, you know, last time you could not take the class that is on liquid-based management. So I would request you to
Okay.
kindly cover that particular topic also. And today's topic will be, the same thing, managerial and administrative aspects of HCWM and managerial and systems approach. So I would request you to kindly, take both the sessions so that our students will be immensely benefited from your presentation. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dr. Sanjay Kapadia. Sir, tell me, my presentation is visible to you or not? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Sir, your voice is a little low. If you can
Okay.
kindly increase your volume so that the sound will be a little clear.
Yeah. Right. This is me. Hello?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is clear.
Clear, sir? And presentation is visible, sir?
Yes, yes. Your presentation is visible.
So, shall we start, sir?
Yes, yes, please.
As sir has mentioned that we have to learn about the liquid waste management on 13th, but sorry for the cancellation of the lecture on 13th because I have some busy task with government. So sorry for that, but today I will be complete both the topic, the liquid waste management and the administrative and managerial aspect of the waste management. So today we learn from this topic about the liquid waste management, the definition, what is the definition of liquid waste that we are generating from the healthcare institution and the various types of the liquid waste, sources of waste water generation, which are the various sources, then which are the various contaminants that will contaminate the liquid, hazards of the wastewater from the healthcare facilities, wastewater management, how we are doing the management in the this wastewater, hospital wastewater treatment, various options of the treatment, then liquid waste treatment options, problem expected with the installed STP, that is sewage treatment plant and effluent treatment plant, methods to dissolve common problems, and treated wastewater final disposal options and the various parameters that is finalized by the Common Biomedical Waste Management Act and rules and regulations. So these are the various uses of water in the hospital. So you can see the various ways, the principal areas of the uses, mainly the sanitaries, amenities, taps, shower, toilets, where we use the water, the air conditioning plant, the HVAC system for the medical purpose, in your dining, kitchen, cafeteria, laundry, where we are using the water in the hospital or the healthcare facilities. So these are the proportion of the usage of water in various areas. The majority we are using for the sanitary activities, um, the 41%, and the HVAC system which is using the water 22%, and rest are the medical process. During medical process we use the food, kitchen, laundry and other miscellaneous in the laboratory and all. So any water, what is the water waste? Wastewater. Any water adversely affected in quality during the provision of the healthcare services. We can define the healthcare liquid waste or the water which is adversely affected in the quality during any process by under the provision of the healthcare services, that is your wastewater. It is mainly a liquid waste which contains some solids disposed by the staff and patient and relatives and other stakeholders. During other healthcare related processes such as cooking, cleaning, laundry, as I mentioned, the water is adversely affected or contaminated or infected. So, which are the various categories of the healthcare wastewater? So, we can define or categorize wastewater into black water, grey water, storm water. So, black water is nothing but the sewage is heavily polluted wastewater containing high concentration of fecal matter, urine. The black water is mainly generated from the sanitary area, your kitchen, food residues, where you are in kitchen, you are washing your utensils or and toxic chemicals, which is used in various laboratories. Grey water is nothing but the sewage, is low polluted. Sewage is highly polluted, heavily polluted. Sewage is low polluted wastewater from the washing area, bathing, lab processes, laundry, technical processes such as cooling, HVAC plant, chiller plant, and the rinsing of X-ray films. And third one is the storm water, which is technically not a wastewater but consists of rainfall collected. Storm water is nothing but the rainfall water that we are collecting on the hospital roof, ground, and paved surface. It may seeps into groundwater or be used for the irrigation in the hospital areas or in the garden, hospital grounds, toilet flushing, and that. So stormwater is also adversely affected with the pollutant in the environment and the ground surface area. That's why it's comes under the wastewater. That is not a clean water or sterile water. So these are the various sources of wastewater generation in the healthcare facility. So we are generating wastewater from the patient wards, from the toilet, urinals, and other areas, cleaning of the floors by the mopping and all, from the various surgical units, operation theaters, procedural rooms, runoff from the paved areas. Then urinals, bathrooms, laboratory, engineering, maintenance, we are generating this wastewater from various patient care areas, ICU. Uh, when there is a dental department, they are using uh, water always for the cleaning of the oral cavities and all. So they are generating wastewater. Radiology department, radiotherapy department, hemodialysis, that they are using water, RO water, and then that is adversely affected and creating the wastewater. Administrative office, little bit wastewater generation in the form of these urinals and or kitchen, of course, the food component, which is for the washing of utensils and all. We are generating the wastewater laundries after washing and cleaning. So these are the various sources of wastewater generation. The pollution sources is the hospital water. Which are the sources of pollution that is polluting the water? So that is wastewater from care activities, all patient care areas, medical research, again, administration of drug to the patient, hospital sewer network, excretion of patient containing pharmaceutical drugs and their metabolites. So these are contaminating the water, domestic wastewater and industrial water. So ultimately, this all water will go to the hospital sewer network. So various contaminants in the wastewater, that is the liquid waste. So if various chemicals in the hospital wastewater include the anesthetic agent that we are using, that is going or that is removing from the body through the urinals and all. Disinfectant various we are using for the cleaning purpose of the hospital surface and all the equipments and all. Various chemicals from the laboratories that we are using in the form of the reagents and all. Photochemicals, X-ray films, contrast media, radioactive liquid, particularly in the radiotherapy and cancer-like hospital, where they are using radioactive substance, will reach to the wastewater in the hospital. That is directly go through the drainage in the sewer, hospital sewer system. Various infectious agents like bacteria, virus, parasite, they also contaminate wastewater. Drugs, the cytotoxic drugs faced, the residual are contaminating the water. Pharmaceuticals, including antibiotics, which is discharged from the body to the excretory system, which also contaminates the water. Excessive nutrients and nitrates. Then mercury from the dental amalgam or lab chemical and proper thermometer or BPF water that also contaminate the water. So these are the various detailed list of the contaminant in the wastewater as I have discussed everything. The infectious liquid waste, which include all the culture stocks associated by biological from lab and all other areas. Liquid chemical waste, liquid waste from the oncology, which contain the chemotherapeutic agent, the pathology lab, formaldehyde, and photochemical solutions, which is used in the X-ray contrast media, fixture, developer, fluorinated organic compounds, and heavy metals such as mercury generated from the broken, as I have mentioned, the broken BPR metals and thermometer and all in the dental amalgam and all. Solvents include halogenated compounds such as methylene chloride, chloroform, etc. In addition to persistent and hard biodegradable chemicals, liquid waste may contain non-metabolized pharmaceutical compounds, which include antibiotic, anesthetic agents, or organic chemicals, which contaminate the disinfectant, various cleaning solutions, and all. Oil and grease that we are using, oil such as vacuum pump oils used in the engine oil from the vehicle that also contaminate the insecticide, rodenticide, which also contaminate this water. Various inorganic chemicals, pharmaceuticals, as I mentioned, radioactive substances, nuclear medicine substance, housekeeping, washing activities, and domestic sewage. So this is how the water is contaminated or the liquid is contaminated in the healthcare facility uh, through various contaminants or the hazardous material. Now we'll understand something about what are the hazards of this, why this liquid waste management is required. Because it causes various hazards due to the microorganisms, hazard due to the cytotoxic substances, pharmaceutical agents, hazard due to some hazardous chemical waste, hazard due to radioactive waste. So this hazard is to the health of the individuals, health of the community, health of the environment. So wastewater is potentially highly potential to cause infectious hazard to the environment, to the individual and the community. Some healthcare facilities in low income areas have no sewer system. Some sewer of healthcare facilities are not watertight and wastewater can leak into groundwater. So that can cause the uh, pollution and the mixed match of the drain and supply water. Improper wastewater management, collection, treatment, and disposal. Disposal may result in the pollution of local drinking water sources or contamination of natural sources. So this wastewater causing hazard to the individual, the community, the health of the community, and the environment also. So what are the environmental implications? So excessive nutrients causes biological degradation in the groundwater, lake, river by using up of oxygen, resulting in algal bloom and biotoxins. Pharmaceuticals in the water may act as the endocrine disruptors. Antibiotics could result in antibiotic resistance pathogens. Mercury and heavy metal causes poisoning. Various waterborne diseases may you can see the various epidemics and outbreak due to the waterborne disease, particularly in the summer seasons. We always see this kind of the waterborne diseases like hepatitis A, cholera, then hepatitis E, then typhoid fever, schistosomiasis, and all. Vector-borne disease and parasite related diseases, dengue fever, malaria, roundworms. This may occur due to this wastewater. Which are the microbial pathogens that is hazardous of community? What are the microbiological pathogens related hazards? So what they do, they create a multi-drug resistance bacteria because the antibiotics are drained into the water and that will gradually increase the resistance, multi-drug resistance bacteria. Waterborne diseases, depletion of O2 in the water bodies or that causes vector-borne disease, as I mentioned, that release harmful gases and parasitic infection and infestation. Various heavy metals and rare elements that causes water contaminations. They are mercury, silver, zinc, various chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and radioactive substances. The hospitals are major contributors of these chemicals and pharmaceuticals, and also the pharmaceutical industries and factories that lead to the wastewater or water contamination. So, cytotoxic agents, antibiotics, the mainly used for the cancer therapy in the cancer hospital. We can say the cytotoxic agents are largely used not for their carcinogenicity, mutagenic, and toxic effects, which is accepted by the patient undergoing the chemotherapy. They are highly polar and non-volatile, but the bound to stay in the water phase, varying biodegradability. Antibiotics, of course, of total consumption, 26% are used in the hospital. Majority of the antibiotics, you can say the parenteral majority are used in the hospitals. Even oral during the patient is admitted in the hospital. Antibiotics, along with their metabolites, end up in the wastewater due to human excretion in the urine and fecal matter. No serious threat to human health for 2 liters of water consumption per day and 70 years of lifespan at present concentration. Right now, antibiotics in the water causes antibiotic resistant bacteria, as I mentioned. Some iodinated contrast media that is used in the contrast diagnostic procedures, imaging procedures, and all. Then some absorbable organic halogen compounds derived by the byproducts of disinfectants applications. ICM are the significant source of the absorbable organic halogens, and radiology department contributes the maximum of this AOX concentration. So this is the quantitative characteristics of hospital-based water. So hospital wastewater and urban wastewater. So you can differentiate the two wastewater which is generated from the hospital and the domestic purposes in the urban areas, or urban wastewater, which is common municipal drain water. So these are the parameters that you can see the quality of the water. So the pH of the hospital wastewater is between the 7.7 to 8.1, and you can see this is not 75, it is 7.5 to 8.5. Then BOD, COD, then the pH, BOD, COD, total surfactant, the fecal coliforms, total coliforms. So these are the various range that is available. So average value of hospital wastewater and urban wastewater. You can see the pollutants which are present in the hospital waste. Analgesic, antibiotic, cytotoxic, you can see beta blocker, hormones, ICM, AX, gadolinium, platinum, and mercury. And you can see the pollutants available in the urban wastewater. So highly polluted water is generated, or liquid waste is generated from the healthcare facility. So for that, or for this purpose, we have to treat or manage this waste, which is wastewater or waste liquid which is generated from the healthcare facility, that we have to treat it. And then we have to drain or utilize the treated water, treated liquid somewhere else, like gardening and all. So how we have to manage this wastewater? The basic underlying principle of effective wastewater management is strictly limit the discharge of hazardous liquid to the sewage. We have to limit the discharge, or we have to reduce the uh, hazardous liquid waste. So then we have to segregation, waste minimization, as I mentioned, reduction, waste minimization, and safe storage are just as important for the liquid waste as for the solid waste. Just like a solid waste, we have to follow that principle: the segregation, minimization, and safe storage. And finally, treatment and disposal. The chemical and pharmaceutical waste, such as pathological chemicals, aldehyde, chlorants, antibiotics, should not be discharged directly into the sewer drain, in the sewer system. So, basic principle for the wastewater management is the discharge of hospital wastewater under the prescribing limit in the Schedule 2 of the Biomedical Waste Management Amendment Rule 2016. You check the prescribed limit. Only after that you can release your treated water into the common corporation drain. The second principle is we have to reduce the source. Third, we have to segregate the contaminated water and its we have then treatment of it, and final disposal. So you can see the Schedule 2, the limits which is given by the Biomedical Waste Management Rule 2016. The permissible limit of pH is between 6.5 to 9. The biochemical oxygen demand, the BOD, and COD, chemical oxygen demand, which is 30 and 250 chemical. The TSS, suspended soil solids, 100. Oil and grease, 10 milligram per liter. Then BAT, bioacetase, the percentage of the survival of fish after 96 hours in 100% effluent. That is bioacetase. That should be performed before draining or discharging the water, treated water, into the common municipal drain. It should be 90%. So this is the schedule 2 to discharge the hospital liquid waste into the common municipal waste drain. Above limits are applicable to all who are generating, who are finally disposing, all applicable to the occupier of the healthcare facility, bedded which are either connected with the sewage network without terminal sewage treatment plant or not connected to public sewage. It is applicable to all. Either they are connected to the public sewer or without terminal sewage treatment. For discharge into public sewer with the terminal facility, the general standards, as I mentioned, notified under the Environmental Protection Act 1986 shall be applicable. Healthcare facilities having less than 10 beds shall have to install STP. By 31st December, that was in 2016, no bedded occupier shall dispose infectious liquid waste only after the treatment or only after the disinfection as per the schedule 2(6) of the principal rules. So that was the criteria or the clause given in the biomedical waste management rule 2016. So now we come to the wastewater management. So traditional, there are two collection arrangements. One is the central system and another is the decentralized system. So in the central system of the sewage pipes, bringing all wastewater from throughout the facility to a central underground location for the treatment or disposal. That is the central system. Then decentralized system where all pipes from some medical areas passes wastewater to the septic tanks or cesspits, not which is not preferred approach. The recommended setup for the treatment is construction of two separate collection system, sewer system and stormwater system. Sewer system for the wastewater and stormwater for the rainwater, which can be used for the gardening direct without, there is no requirement of treatment of stormwater that can be used in the garden directly, toilet flushing or washing of private areas. Manholes to allow access for the maintenance every 50 meters or less. Watertight sewage pipes and manholes, pretreatment to reduce or eliminate contaminants in non-domestic wastewater or in altering its nature before discharging into the sewage. So, pre-treatment of hazard liquid. Whatever the liquid that we have generated, we have to pre-treat it. So, pre-treatment in the medical laboratory, which is recommended, which include the acid-base neutralization, filtration, sedimentation, or autoclaving. Pre-treatment of the fecal or vomiting material during an outbreak, such as cholera involves, which require decontamination with the lime milk. The ratio of the decontamination is 1:2 for the stool and vomit for lime for 6 hours minimum, and for vomit is 1:1 for the urine, which should be for the 2 hours minimum contact period. But blood can be discharged in the sewer using PPE to protect from blood splatter. If a risk assessment shows that the organic loading does not require pretreatment, otherwise blood can be pretreated by the thermal method or disposed directly into the septic tank if safety measures are used. 5% of hypochlorite is not effective for high organic load like blood. Pre-treatment is required for in the dental department also. Installing amalgam separator in sinks, especially by the patient treatment chairs. The separated mercury waste must be safely stored. It cannot be drained directly into the water. We have to separate it and we have to store, or we can send it to the manufacturer for reusing. The pre-treatment for the radiotherapy department involves separate collection of radioactive waste. Use example are urine of the patient from the thyroid treatment patient, storage for the decay in the secure diving basin until background collection have decreased after the required storage time. The wastewater can be disposed of in the sewer system. So we have to store this kind of the liquid for a decade lifetime in that area. Then we can drain it into the sewer system. Pre-treatment for kitchens entails a grease trap to remove all grease, oil, or oily materials and other floating materials before draining into the sewers. So, pre-treatment of the hazard liquid, as I have mentioned, we have to neutralize by neutralizing agent, acid or base, chemical liquid waste from the healthcare facility. Then after treatment, that will go to the your sewage treatment plant. Liquids that do not require pre-treatment, non-hazardous chemicals such as syrups, vitamins, or eye drops, small quantity of blood, rinsing liquids from the surgical theaters can be discharged in the sewer system without pre-treatment. But if you use the centralized system of the liquid waste collection, then all these small quantity waste can be treated. That will go to your central system and that will be treated. Large quantity of blood may require pre-treatment if it is indicated by the risk assessment. Now, after pre-treatment, the treated waste liquid will come to your sewage system. The preferred method is to connect the healthcare sewage system to the municipal system and discharge healthcare wastewater after adequate pre-treatment to the municipal sewage. So, there are some minimum requirement for the treatment. So, use of primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment protocol, removal of 90% and more of bacteria, treatment of sewage sludge to destroy helminth eggs to less than 1 egg per liter, compliance with local regulatory requirements. So these are the criteria to drain the treated waste into the municipal sewage treatment plant. So how we are segregating the wastewater? So from healthcare facility, the domestic will go through the separate line, chemical liquid waste from the laboratory, infectious from various patient care areas. The chemical waste in the laboratory requires neutralization and pre-treatment. Domestic does not require any pre-treatment, and infectious, the pre-treatment will not affect any infectious agent. So that will directly go to your STP, your sewage treatment plant. So you can see this algorithm from where this water, your liquid is getting contaminated, or in the finally in your treatment plant, the wastewater treatment strategy. So stormwater directly go to your receiving source into the municipal waste. Bathing and washing wastewater will go to your sewage, where all grit will be removed, and that will go to your central plant. Fecal urine, that will go to your septic tank. Then after from the septic tank, all the highly contaminated solutes are sedimented, and the remaining wastewater will go to your central plant. Highly infectious wastewater, the disinfection. Then finally we'll go to your STP, radioactive wastewater, storage for the decay. We have to wait for the decay time. Kitchen waste, removal of grease, then that will go to your treatment STP. Chemical wastewater, neutralization and dilution, and storage. Central treatment plant, combining physiochemical and biological process. There we have pre-treatment, primary treatment, secondary and tertiary. Primary treatment includes the removal of the waste and solids. Secondary, after removal of waste and solid, all removal of the carbon contained organics. And finally, the removal of nutrients and disinfection. And finally, After treated, water will go directly to the municipal sewerage system or river or other waste bodies, water bodies. So bedded hospital which are not connected with sewage network without terminal sewage treatment plant or not connected to the public treatment plant, they will captive wastewater treatment plant to be installed. They have to install treatment plant so as to comply with the discharge norms of the biomedical waste management rule, which are not connected with the sewage network with terminal sewage treatment plant and are connected to the public sewage wastewater treatment plant to be installed. They have to install non-bedded healthcare facility treatment of. They have to treat their liquid waste at their own. They have to install. They have to treat their waste, their liquid waste by the chemical disinfection as per the biomedical waste management rule. And after that, they can drain or discharge that treated waste into the municipal waste. So the facility which has on-site wastewater treatment plant for the large hospitals or large healthcare facility, they install this type of STP plant. So there are many, as I mentioned, there are mainly three phases: primary treatment, secondary, and tertiary. Primary treatment, the treatment is mainly focusing on the removing of the heavy solids. Say after removal of the heavy solids, the liquid waste will go to the secondary treatment plant that will remove all the dissolved and suspended biological material or matter by using indigenous bacteria. And after that, the secondary treated liquid waste will go to the tertiary treatment component that will further treat the wastewater for the purpose of reducing pathogens, bacteria, suspended soils, excessive phosphorus, nitrogen, nutrients, and chemical content. So you can see the example of the on-site treatment plant. You can see the healthcare sewage, bar screen, grid chamber, equalization tank, aeration tank, the sludge dewatering press. Then after the dewatering press, the sludge cake that can be used for the composting, landfilling, land reclamation, etc. Then grit chamber will remove all the grit. You can see the primary treatment, that is bar screen, grit chamber, and equalization tank. Then your sludge treatment, that is your sludge treatment that will remove all your solids, heavy solids, the thickener and aerobic digester. This all will remove your heavy solids. That is your primary treatment. In secondary treatment, the aeration tank is there and clarifier there. That will remove all your finally your tertiary treatment that will remove all your microorganisms, phosphorus, and all the chemicals. There is a filter which is pressurized, pressure sand or carbon filter. Then finally it will go to the chlorine or ultraviolet disinfection and treated wastewater. That can be used in your gardening or your flush or in your toilets. You can see this oil and grease trap, sedimentation fermentation tank, two chamber septic tank. This is a primary treatment where all the solids are removed. In secondary treatment, activated sludge process, trickling filter, rotating biological contractors, FAB reactors, SBR, sequential batch reactors, membrane reactors, moving bed bioreactors, stabilization ponds, aerobic levels, and constructed wetlands. So you can see the secondary treatment plant, how it look like. Then in tertiary, there is mainly the membrane. There is filtration through the membrane, microfiltration, filtration membrane, ultrafiltration, nanofiltration, and reverse osmosis. The RO filtration. Then final treated is chlorinated. Treated liquid is chlorinated. Ozonization is also technique for the disinfection and chlorinate disinfection of the water. And ultraviolet treatment is also a part of the tertiary treatment. You can see the tertiary treatment plants. There is carbon filter, fifth stage, fourth stage. You can see the RO membrane, the filter, various filters, three filters. Then from this first, second, and third stage, the filter water will go to the to fourth stage RO membrane. Then there is a reverse osmosis. From there, it will go to the post carbon filter, and finally, it will go to your storage tank from where you can use the water in your wash basin, in your toilet, in your gardening, and everywhere. This is a chlorine disinfection, how chlorination is done. On-site wastewater treatment, which produce sludge, which contain high concentration of pathogens. Option for this treatment of this sludge is anaerobic digestion, aerobic composting, and rig beds. You can see the sludge, how it is treated. Liquid waste in the non-bedded, the single small clinics, it does not have beds, only a PD examination and all. So they have to also treat their waste by the chemical disinfectants, and finally they can drain. During the treatment and management of the liquid waste, you will find some problems with the STB. So you have to maintain your sewage treatment plan also. Initiation of failing to treat, poor design, that can be the problem. Consistent small operations, strong smell, bad odor. That you, if you visit STB, you'll find this strong smell or bad odors and very high noise level. So there are some modern technologies to resolve the common problems, the various modern designs, effective consumption of waters, proper operations and maintenance, regular maintenance and cleaning and all, removal of all the sludge and all. Use of this STP by the trained personnels, prevention of shock loads. All the loads, all the one of the major reason for the STP is not working properly is the fluctuation in the input loads. Flow of the sewage in the hospital may not be uniform. So it varies from peak flow to the low or almost no flow later in the day with another peak in the evening. So raw sewage should be collected in the sewage balancing tank to ensure uniform flow. The balancing tank should be sized accordingly, hold at least 6 to 8 hours flow of the sewage. This ensure that the sewage collected in the balancing tank is homogeneous, thereby the avoiding input fluctuation in input load of the estimate. So do not compromise on the size of the raw sewage balancing tank. Control of noise level and energy consumption. It is necessary to replace most of the critical rotatory motor driven equipment with the latest noiseless high efficiency equipments. Treated wastewater final disposal options. There are various options. Depends on the level of treatment, non-potable reuse and potable reuse. If you have highest level of treatment of the liquid waste, then you can use that water for the drinking purpose and all. But majority of the cases you can use for the non-potable purposes, like for the agriculture purpose, for the fire recharge, then aquaculture, firefighting system you can use for that, fire tank, flushing of toilets, no matting Industrial cooling you can use for this treated water in the park, gardening and all, and wildlife habitats. You can use this treated waste. So for that, the hospital wastewater a complex matrix, water use efficiency, source reduction, segregation, recycle, reuse, and treatment and user. Water management and abatement of the MS. We have to focus on the waste minimization particularly. We have to reduce the waste water generation. We have to recycle by treating it. Thank you very much for uh, listening. And any questions, sir? Hello, hello.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Any questions? This is about the liquid waste, how it is generated, how it is collected, segregated, transported to this STP pre-treatment and treatment and final disposal. So this is about the liquid waste management that is generated from the healthcare facilities, and what are the various criteria for the liquid waste that to be treated and finally disposed in the municipal waste water. So any questions till now?
Students, if you have any question, please ask. Otherwise, we will shift to the next session.
Or we will switch over to the next presentation or next topic, sir.
Okay, okay.
Is it visible?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, it is visible.
Okay.
Yes, yes, it is visible.
So whatever, okay. So whatever the waste we are generating in the healthcare facility or the hospital or any small clinics or any facilities, as per the various laws related to the waste, solid waste, liquid waste, biomedical waste, this waste is comes under the environmental pollution or environmental act. So there are some managerial and administrative aspect of this waste management that we have to know about this. For biomedical waste management, you learn everything of the various categories and all. So managerial aspect of healthcare waste management include this component. You have to do a waste audit, which is based on the tools, the typical tools that you have designed, and you have to do the audit and outcome. For that, you have to develop your policy on the which kind of the waste that is generated, solid waste, liquid waste, biomedical waste, then your non-biomedical waste, your kitchen waste, your recyclable waste or your non-recyclable waste. So you have to define various waste in your healthcare facility. You have to define the processes, various SOPs for the generation, for the segregation, for the collection, for the transportation, and final disposal as per various acts. You have to develop your institutional policy, and that should be on based on the various guidelines given by various acts and rules. Just like your biomedical waste management handling rules, the managerial aspect should include this cost consideration. Cost include the installation, capital cost of the installation of the treatment plant or the drainage system or the the either it may be the centralized or decentralized drainage system. There are various recurring costs, the maintenance cost, the operational cost, the cost of the waste. In case of the biomedical waste, you have to pay for final disposal to the common biomedical waste treatment facility also. contingency cost, overhead cost, the manpower utilized for that. You should have various committees related to your infection control, related to the your HAI, healthcare associated infections, the various composition, the function of the committees, how this committee will work, what are the frequencies, what is the frequency of the committee that will meet and that will review the functioning and of the this committee and functioning of the healthcare facilities. Biomedical waste management committee, the composition who are the members, that is also mandatory as per the biomedical waste management rule 2016. Documentation and record required for the maintenance, weight, the quantity which is generated, the quality. In case of the biomedical waste, that you can categorize on the basis of various color coded bins or color coded categories. For the solid waste, the municipal waste, solid waste, you can categorize into the blue and green, biodegradable and non-biodegradable, or cyclable, reusable and cyclable or non-cyclable. As per the biomedical waste management, you should know about various forms which is required from 1, 2, 3, 4. The report all the major incident to the prescribed authority. Form 2 is application for getting authorization of the generation and transportation to the temporary storage area. Form 3 include the prescribed authority will grant the authorization, the certificate or authorization to generate that. Form 4, the annual report that you have to submit to the authority before 30th June of every month. Every year, not every month, but every year. Then managerial aspect include the regular monitoring based on your audit, day-to-day monitoring, weekly monitoring, monthly monitoring, and yearly audit, internal and external evaluation, that is your audit. And based on your audit and reports, you have to train, you have to develop your training calendar, you have to train your various categories of staff, your doctors, your nurses, your paramedics, your housekeeping, or these waste handlers, those who are dealing with the waste. So these are some the functions of the healthcare facility or the general managerial things, which include the compiling of the inventory of the waste. As I mentioned, the various categories of the waste, various type of the waste, and the quantity which is generated during entire year during the process treatment and examination and operating all the things of the patient care. Assignment of the responsibility for the waste management, allocation of sufficient manpower or human resource or financial resources, practicing on the minimization of the waste generation, implementation of the policy, identification of various generation of source, segregation, as I mentioned, all these components that you have to check. So the healthcare facility or person in the healthcare facility will do audit to check out whether the waste management activity starting from the waste generation to the final disposal is happening properly or not. That for that you have to do audit, and that will help to understand and get an insight into the existing system, what is happening in inventory management for waste management, whether the proper waste management is happening or not. Characterization and quantification of waste. Which type of waste is generated and the quantity of the waste that is generated from the healthcare facility. That helps to determine logistic requirement for the waste management, logistic requirement which include the container and all, which help to select appropriate technologies for final treatment and final disposal options. What will be the final treatment? What will be the final disposal? That that your audit will help. and it helps to design and generate protocols for various aspects of healthcare facilities, healthcare facility waste management like segregation, transportation, handling, storage, pre-treatment, disposal in accordance with the law of the land and monitoring of the system, recording, reporting, and tracking of the waste. So every healthcare facility have to audit their waste management, and this audit will help to further improve in the waste management. So by doing that audit, that will help to identification of the source of generation, various categorization, quantification of the waste generation, as I mentioned. It helps in the categorizing the waste wise pre-treatment process requirement, waste movement, transportation, storage within the facility, whether they have to store or whether they can directly drain, reuse, condition of the personal protective equipment which is available to the healthcare personnel or not, spillage kit is available or not, status of the pre-treatment equipment, whether the pre-treatment equipments are available. If it is available, it is in the working position. If it is in the working position, then it is working efficiently or not. That you can evaluate. You can evaluate the incidence of the sharp injuries, the sharp needed prick injuries and safety measures. What will be the safety measures that can be taken? So this audit will help like this. We can learn, as you have already learned about this biomedical waste management, the committee, who are the committee personnel, your chairperson is the hospital superintendent or the chief of the hospital or healthcare facility, various head of the hospital, various department, your SMO, your nursing superintendent, ICM, your infection control officer, your waste management officer, your sanitary superintendent, sanitary inspector, supportive staff, and hospital engineers, of course. What is the role of the waste management committee? So the waste management committee role is to prepare the policy and guidelines, SOPs, and safety operations for the waste management in line with the prevailing rules notified under the national regulations. Monitoring, periodic review, revision, or updating, if necessary, implementation of healthcare waste management policy and procedures, documentation of waste content, evaluation of data and presentation. Any other functionaries are deemed fit can be included or called for as and when required by the chairman of the committee. What is the role of the waste management officer? So it is the center of the waste management officer, the licensing officer with all the department, licensing with the external agencies, licensing with the government authorities also. The head of the hospital, the responsibility of the head of the hospital is to ensure obtaining required approval from the authorities, form a waste management team and committee, develop a written waste management plan of the hospital or healthcare facility. The team member, who will be the team member, he or she should be finalized, who are involved in direct handling and removal of the patient waste. Sorry, the duties and responsibility of the member should be clearly delineated with respect to handling of the healthcare waste and lines of accountability to be established. Head of the hospital has to designate a waste management officer to supervise and implement the waste management plan. He has to allocate sufficient financial and personal resources for executing waste management plan. He has to ensure that monitoring procedures are incorporated in the plan. He has to ensure adequate training for the staff member or the personnel involved in the waste management. Has to ensure proper record maintenance, reporting with the due date, within the due date with the regulatory authorities. So after the designation of the waste management officer, the responsibility of the waste management officer include implementation of the plan, proper waste segregation, control internal waste collection, ensure correct storage, coordination with of the disposal operations, monitoring on-site and off-site of the transportation of the waste. He has to maintain a record in prescribed format at all stages. He has to liaison with a departmental head to ensure planning is carried out. Monitoring of the waste generation, disposal, costs, public health aspect of waste. Liaison with the regulatory authority for obtaining of approval or renewal of approval within a prescribed time. Submission of annual report, coordination with the inspection team or authorities. So, why there is need of the monitoring? So, regular monitoring is always required because it is an ongoing process. The progress in the implementation of the healthcare waste management system of the healthcare facility to improve or to ensure the monitoring is required. Information on the waste segregation practices, time for proactive future actions. Information on the areas of strength and weakness of the so as to reinforce the management system with appropriate corrective actions. Information on the achievement of set targets and standard. Measures the operation maintenance performance of the healthcare services related to the healthcare waste management. Parameters of the monitoring, they have to develop a parameter. So components of the system that need to be monitored, for example, so practices such as segregation documentation process, consumable supply of various container, beans, plastic bags, PPE kits, operations such as disinfection, autoclaving with processes, who has to conduct, frequency of conduct, feedback and action, line of control. So there has to be a regular monitoring system that may be a day-to-day monitoring, then periodic monitoring. There are various components, as I mentioned, the quantity, quality, segregation, the management of the spillage, various spillage, incident of the spillage, and management of that spillages, inventory management, monitoring whether it is available in equal stock or not, then maintenance of the various register and injury register and the final disposal register. So finally, after audit, there may be evaluation which is based on who is conducting the evaluation. It may be the internal or external evaluation. The evaluation of your waste management, it may be internal evaluation by the in-house members of the hospital, your team or your committee can be evaluated. It can be done by other members of the committee. External may be done by the external agency or your pollution control board or from the other third party agencies. Classification based on the periodicity may be the evaluation may be based on the periodicity, it may be periodic or annual. Evaluation can be done in-house or external agency by quarterly, by 6 monthly, or it may be annual. Annual may be from the external agency or by the from the state government or other department. So the management required at the generator level. So you have to focus on these processes. The first process is the segregation of the waste, which is not only the biomedical waste but all the waste. The most important component of the waste management is the segregation because you have to segregate as per the category. Biomedical, you have to segregate as per the color coded category. Solid waste, you have to segregate as per the Solid Waste Management Act. your green bag and your blue bag. So segregation done at source as per the category wise. Primary disinfection, mutilation and syringing you can cut the shafts. Then after segregation you have to pack, store temporary, and you have to maintain or record all the generated waste into your registers. You have to pack all the materials in color coded, non-chlorinated bags as per the Biomedical Waste Management Act is saying. Put the label, the as per the act, you have to make your label and you can do. It may be now your barcoded label. So it should contain the department or the area which has generated this waste. So you can track the generator site. Storage, you can store your temporary waste in which is biomedical waste or solid waste, a separate area or dedicated place. You cannot store this waste beyond a certain limit as per the biomedical waste from the time of the generation to the transportation. It should not exceed 48 hours. There are some legal compliance that you have to get your membership certificate from the Common Biomedical Waste Treatment Facility, or you have to do memorandum of association between your final disposal. That will contain all the parameters which is mentioned in your the Biomedical Waste Management Rules 2016. A renewal regular annual report submission before the 30th of June every year, and reporting of the incident. If any major incident of this village is happening in your institute, you have to report to the authority. Then from temporary storage to final transportation to the disposal site. So if you are not managing your waste properly, there is the another managerial issue that you will face from these areas. You have to face the this pollution control board, you have to face the media, you have to face the court, higher offices and various NGOs, those who are working with the environmental pollution. For biomedical waste, as you have already learned about the various processes and steps, I will not go through in detail. In all waste management rules and act, there is always punishment. But as we are dealing with the biomedical waste management majorly in the healthcare facility, we only know about the biomedical waste management. But even in the solid waste management, if you are not segregating properly, you are not giving it to the municipal collectors for the final disposal. So there are chances of um, some infections and environmental pollution and all. And there is a provision for this fine and all. So there are for the biomedical waste, you may get notice from the pollution control board. Pollution control board has the power to close your healthcare facility. Even you can send to the jail or you have to pay a fine for your mismanagement. So this is in brief about the various managerial aspect that you will face during the management of the waste that is generated in the healthcare facility that should be treated and finally disposed as per the rules and regulation and act. So thank you very much. Any questions? Hello? 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 Any questions? Hello?
Students, please respond. Anuradha Madam, Drashti Manapara, Subrata Adhikari, please respond.
Yes, sir.
If you have any question, you can ask.
No, sir. Everything is okay.
So we can conclude here, sir. Can we conclude? Hello? Hello?
If there is no question, you can summarize. You can summarize what you have discussed, and then we can conclude.
So in finally, today we have learned about the liquid waste management, how we are dealing with the liquid waste. We have learned about the various sources of the contamination of the water, the various contaminants, then various treatment options that is available for the liquid waste, various type of the system that is helping for the treatment of the liquid waste, the pre-treatment of the waste which is required, then final treated waste, the various standard and parameters which is given by the biomedical waste management rule 2016 before draining in the municipal sewer system. And finally, the various issues that we are facing for the in-house sewage treatment plant and the various new available strategy for the overcoming of these issues that we have learned in the liquid waste management. Then the various managerial, legal aspect and administrative aspect that one healthcare facility and the head should be followed. That we have learned the various the committee for the waste management, the waste management officer or the management waste management officer, the responsibility of the head of the institute, responsibility of the waste management officer, the various guidelines that they have to make, SOPs, various steps of the waste collection, segregation, collection, transportation, storage, various forms is of available form 1, 2, 3, 4 for the biomedical waste management, the getting of authorization, return submission before 30th June, and finally the legal provision of the penalties or fine which is there for the non or mismanagement of the waste generation and waste management, that may include the fine and sending to the head or the facility to the jail and closure of the healthcare institution. So the waste management is very essential as per the legal aspect. All the environmental act related act, the sub act, we can say the solid waste management act, the liquid waste management act, and biomedical waste management act, that is focusing on the final disposal, treatment, and management, and any misconduct or mismanagement during the procedure up to the final disposal, that will lead to the fine and jail. So that we have learned till now. Thank you, sir. Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Dr. Kapadia.
Yes, sir.
You have touched upon these two aspects. The topic that we had missed on 13. that is also covered. So I think students must have noted down all the important points. And of course, we'll be sharing the recording of the video to all of you, so that those who have missed the session, today's session, will be able to get an opportunity to witness that. So with this, we stop here, sir. We thank you very much for coming online and talking to our students. And we also request all our students to come prepared, so that they can ask questions, and accordingly the question answer session will be lively. So this is all I wanted to say. I think we should stop here. If you want to speak, sir, you can speak a few words.
No, sir, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. We will see you again in the next session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir.